Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Perspective. In the wake of the recent political developments, we've seen moves by the PTI as a political party move to as far as anti-state moves are concerned. When we talk about the IMF, we talk about the review, writing to the US on those issues are concerned, whether protesting outside with regard to, in America, with regard to these allegations, and as far as the IMF is concerned, as far as their review is concerned, these are continuing tactics we are looking at as far as PTI as a political party is concerned. We'll be talking about what these moves mean as far as Pakistan is concerned, as far as politics generally is concerned at this time when, of course, economy is the primary concern for the government at this time. We've also recently, of course, seen certain statements that have come out from the PTI leadership regarding joining of the Sunni Ittihad Council. We'll also be talking about the ramifications of these statements, which themselves indicate perhaps more infighting within the party as far as the opposition is concerned. What kind of an opposition can we expect? An opposition that is willing to go to every level, what it can mean for Pakistan as a state. All of this today on Perspective. I have with me Aniq Zafar, who's a political analyst. Thank you for being with us. Naveed Aman, who's a political analyst, and we also have with us Zahid Gishkori, who's a senior journalist. I'm going to start with Zahid Sab. Zahid Sab, can you hear me?
Mahrukh.
Zahid Sab, we saw recently these protests in the US also. We also saw, and abroad, we also saw, of course, this move that started with the former Prime Minister Imran Khan writing to the IMF with regard to the review that has been, of course, that is coming up, some of those preliminary meetings that have also started in that regard. And of course, today the statement of the PTI leadership as far as, of course, joining of the Sunni Ittihad Council is concerned. And the narrative itself, the narrative of, of the nominated seats and what this can mean for that narrative itself and what it shows in terms of whether it was a hasty decision with regard to joining of the Sunni Ittihad Council, where the legal ramifications had not, been thoroughly checked as far as the party leadership was concerned. And then, of course, we've also seen a reaction from the Sunni Ittihad Council head as far as that statement is concerned. Could you shed light on these?
Mahrukh, this is very unfortunate that the lobbying finally PTI hired its services in the United States in, I guess, last year, finally got its fruit as one of the committees now decided to take up what's going on in Pakistan about its democratic project and some other issues as well. And meanwhile, PTI is doing what exactly who could not otherwise, because to write to IMF and write to different forums, even they were thinking about to write to European Union about what happened in Pakistan, alleged rigging and so many multi-pronged shenanigan parties started. There are multiple reasons why did they do this, number one, and secondly, on the other hand, the behavior of this party, we observe as a reporter here that changed as compared to 2018, 19 or 20. Now they understand that they should get the power within the parliament and keep protesting and demonstrate.
And, of course, I'm going to interject here. As far as, this itself, does it not indicate the kind of politics at play? Because, when we look at the opposition, we've also seen other political parties being on the opposing benches, in the parliament. That is not new in that sense. But when we see a party like the PTI, do you think they're trying to rally the support of, the Pakistanis, overseas Pakistanis, has been a continuing strategy of the former Prime Minister? I mean, it started with the cipher. We saw the cipher. We saw the, Donald Bloom statement that was quickly refuted. We saw it start from there, and it seems to be continuing, full stream even now.
Actually, party has, lost almost everything. First, they lost symbols, and first they, uh, were agitating at different legal forums, and secondly, they think that they were put into a blind alley before the election, and party faced a crackdown following 9th May attacks by allegedly their workers, and now there are they say, and it's true that thousands of workers are in the jail, and this is a different story and different debate. But on the current topic, they are, they even are doing what exactly uh, I haven't seen in the past by any political party when it comes to uh, address the national issue the state is facing, and you are going to engage international players in Pakistan affairs, either to engage their followers, workers, I mean the overseas. They understand Pakistan ground realities, but the narrative in a different perspective uh, at a digital platform. I can count one example, and I'm sure you would give me some time, at least 2 3 minutes. That
जी जी
PTI has been pushing the narrative that they have won 180 seats, they got two-third majority, and so many rigging allegations. It's like an ocean floating on social media everywhere, and they almost uh, successfully convincing overseas that yes, there happened rigging in a huge way. But on the ground realities and the facts, nobody can deny it. Not you, me, not overseas, not the world. I can tell you, and I want to put these facts on the record here. This PTI only challenged 35 NA
yes
constituencies, only 35. It means that the party has 93 seats, and they challenge more 35. It means they are not going to claim their uh, 60 seats. They have been claiming that there is a rigging, these were our seats, and we won these seats, and so on, and many other allegations as well. But on the ground, they only challenge in the tribunal and with the ECP only 35 constituencies, and other political parties also challenge different
probably
constituencies
have the
like
other political
PMLN.
parties probably have at least that many, or maybe more also, that they've challenged. So factually, looking at the factual situation at this time, they really have no narrative, they really have no leg to stand on. That's what it looks like. Let me come back to you, Zahid Sahab. Ji, I can't hear you. Ji, Zahid Sahab.
I'm just saying this, that I'm just leaving it all by presenting these facts before your program here, that leaving it to your viewer. They can decide that what are the facts, and they're speaking louder than the political rhetoric Pakistani political parties are trying to establish. But yes, it's true. This time, Election Commission of Pakistan received 104% more complaints following post-election issues as compared to 2018 election, because Election Commission and Tribunal received 299 complaints of 80 constituencies in 2018, and this time 612 complaints were filed against the results of 151 constituencies. Yes, there are problems, and problem exists, and one has to address these problems through tribunals.
But the problem is one that actually impacts across the board all political parties. On that note, I'm going to take Aniq Saab's opinion on this also. Aniq Saab, of course, this is an across the board issue as far as elections are concerned, as far as the fact that elections in this country unfortunately have always been controversial, and one party or another, or across the board as far as all political parties are concerned. And if you do go back and accept what the PTI is saying, then what's happened in KP is also clearly the result of that rigging, by that same argument.
Yes, definitely. Again, the onus of all this mess is on the Election Commission of Pakistan. We cannot deny that. But on the other hand, we have to have a look at our history also. In our history, even in 2018 elections, PTI won the elections, but if you recall, after a year or two, they started saying that actually elections were rigged to stop them from gaining majority, simple majority or 2/3 majority, so because PTI always is for 2/3 majority. They are not a party which can be kept under 100 or something, because that is how the party is, party's narrative is constructed, that they are the only party in the country and no other party can win a seat. Similarly, their argument right now is that they have won something like 180 or 181 or seats. I'm pretty sure that if I sit them down and ask them, let's see where are those 181 seats, they won't be able to find those 180
and by
seats.
that same extension, what Zahid Saab is saying, only 35 seats are the ones that are actually contesting also.
Yeah, and again, out of those 35, maybe they'll get some relief on 10 or 12. That's the maximum.
Which is how normally.
That's how normally it happens. Some of the seats, you know, yesterday there was a recounting in Gujranwala, and PMLN candidate started taking lead. Then the PTI candidate ran to the courts to get a stay on the recounting. And so all that is happening. So, but the real issue right now is that PTI right now is using the narrative of rigged election, and then is doubling down on creating a narrative across the world that the government in Pakistan is not legitimate. This is something which is very dangerous, because I am very sure that there will not be much impact anywhere in any capital of the world. But since PTI's whole focus is on keeping the support amongst expatriate Pakistanis intact, because that's where the major funding comes in, right? So they have to keep them engaged. So they are the more aggressive ones also on the social media. They are the more aggressive ones who want.
They're also the more vulnerable in the sense that they probably would believe more than those on the ground.
Yeah, I mean,
but
again, I think they are not vulnerable. They are already sold to this narrative, right? Most of them, and if PTI lowers down the temperature, that expatriate Pakistani becomes very upset, because that Pakistani who has no skin in the game wants, that expatriate Pakistani with no skin in the game wants somehow total chaos in Pakistan. That's where they think things will get to the stage where they want Pakistan to be in their own dreams or in their own utopia, right? So this is a big problem right now in Pakistan, that the expatriate Pakistanis are trying to negotiate the political space in Pakistan on behalf of PTI. The leadership here, which has won elections or who are in the parliament, they have to function within a system. But that those expatriate Pakistanis do not want to do not want this leadership to work within the system. They want them to go on the street and try to bring down the system.
I want to include Naveed Saab in this also. Naveed Saab, but the question is for the people in Pakistan at this time is, where does the buck stop for the PTI? And also, if we look at what happened in the past with PTI leadership choosing to resign, it seems to have been a lesson well learnt in this case, that they don't want to stay out of the parliament anymore. But the question is, if they want to become a part of the process and they want to be within the parliament, then the most important question is, are they going to let us function, or are they going to try to clog the wheel, so to speak, and from the inside, try to sabotage? Even from the jail, the former Prime Minister chose to write to the IMF. So the consequences, of course, perhaps he realized there would not be consequences. He was doing it as a political stunt, whatever one may call it. The question is, it is an act which should, which has consequences. Even if it is politicking, it's political, it's about the state now.
Yes, Mahrukh. Writing letter to IMF is a non-serious attitude as a politician. Once you are leading a party, and you claim that you are one of the main parties who have won elections, and now you have become the part of the parliament.
And you are a former prime minister.
Yes, of course you are the former prime minister, and a former prime minister should be very serious about the political matters and should know the consequences of such acts which he has been exercising in past, and now as he has written a letter to IMF. What has come out of that letter? Nothing. Just embarrassment for himself, his party, or for the politics, or for the country. IMF has nothing to do with the Pakistani politics or elections or any other such internal matters. It's a monetary body, and it relates with the loans or such assistances.
But of course, the continuation of IMF as a monitoring body on our economy is an extremely important.
Definitely.
It's a step that's extremely important for Pakistan, on which the livelihoods of many people, on which inflation, on which the continuation of our economy, unfortunately, it depends.
Mahrukh, the political stability is very important for any country to go ahead. But Imran Khan as party leader, or now former PTI, now Sunni Ittihad Council, Imran Khan has always been trying to create mess in the country and create that instability, political instability in the country, or create crisis in the country. Whenever any country, any state suffers any sort of crisis or instability, ultimately the goal of that economic stability suffers, and this he knows very well, and he deliberately is doing all this. It's not his
of
innocence.
Course it's about his political, he feels his political clout, his political support, he wants to channelize
but ultimately the state of the country, the state of Pakistan is suffering.
We
and
saw what happened with the
persons.
cipher also. I want to go to Zahid Sahib and then I'll come back to you. Zahid Sahib, I want your opinion on what's happened as far as, this infighting which seems to have come out between the PTI leadership and the Sunni Ittihad Council, on joining of the Sunni Ittihad Council. Of course, the narrative of the PTI is that they joined the Sunni Ittihad Council, therefore they should have had those extra seats. The question now is, if they're already saying that this was a bad move, it should have been rethought, it was legally not sound, then are they not acknowledging that perhaps it wasn't thought through in the first place? And then of course we've seen a rebuttal also that it was done at the behest of the former Prime Minister Imran Khan Sahib himself.
Listen, Mahrukh, PTI was struggling to get a space, legal space, to get these reserve seat, but it failed. And now ultimately, it was obvious from day one at your program as well, we have been discussing this, that this matter would go to the Supreme Court of Pakistan. It would decide, because it's the first of its kind precedent in the country, recent history, that a political party, the independent candidate to join any political party which has not submitted its preference list before the election commission, they cannot get any reserved seats. And it's obvious, and you are also a barrister, you are also a lawyer, you understand it, no precedent, and it happened. They first joined was Muslimin. There was a huge pressure within the party that due to some sects and belief, they parted ways. And then the Sunni Ittihad Council, the party itself not only did not submit the preference list, but also its chairman, its founder even, he himself contested as an independent candidate. So this is the first of its kind precedent. We have to look into Supreme Court affairs. Supreme Court would decide it. But it was a politically, in my opinion, not absolute correct decision.
Hasty move, not thought of. It was the legal ramifications had not been thoroughly debated. They hadn't, like you said, also looked at all those angles. And again, we are of course having statements that this was done at the direct orders of the PTI chief, former chairman of the PTI, Imran Khan Sahib himself. So whatever has happened, it has really dented, don't you think it dents that narrative that they've been wronged in the first place?
they have been changing their narrative. They understand the pulse of their followers. The party grabbed maximum votes in the country, recent history even, and it's a top leading country, top leading political party which got maximum votes. But they keep changing their narratives and taking U-turn and many other things. They are improving politically and parliamentary positions, and they understand now the real force is in the parliament. The party ultimately suffered a lot. It lost all constitutional position everywhere. Only they are now.
Do you think the real problem is that they lack political maturity? You are saying, relatively as far as other political parties are concerned, we've also here discussing that they've been through a lot of, good and bad times. There is a clearer hierarchy there. There's a clearer way of, even when things have gone very badly for any other mainstream political parties, there has been a way, there has been a chain of command, so to speak. Do you think that the reason why there is this kind of a problem is, one, that there is not that kind of political maturity, and two, that chain of command is clearly missing?
Of course, the situation is clear. The top tier is in the jail, and party is now trying to seeking international support to at least force the government here in Pakistan to give them some relief. In many ways, in cases, in somehow some seats even of National Assembly. But to me, it looks like very difficult that PTI would get relief in the coming month. But the situation has been changed, and the system is not supporting the party. Party already faced absolute setback, and it will take some time for its rehabilitation and reconstruction. It might take more than 2 years even. But one thing is clear in this political ruckus, and all political parties are not coming on the single table. It's only the state that's suffering. We need to, and the country need a political compromise across the party line to meet up the challenges at the economic front and many other challenges as well. And I hope that this political stability would come in coming month. I hope so. But Mahrukh, I'm grateful. I have to leave for a very important meeting.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I understand, Zahid Saab. Thank you for your time. Thank you for joining us. Naveed Saab, we talk about this anti-state behavior. We've even seen the Minister of Information also clearly talk about how this is, of course, anti-state behavior. The way that the letter has been written, the way that it's been followed up, the way that, these protests also. As far as PTI as a party is concerned, do you think that, mainstream, when we see the coalition at this time between the PPP and the PMLN, of course, they're moving forward to function. The business of governance has been taken up, and that's how important do you see the phenomena of this opposition on the ground here? Let's leave what's happening out of country out.
Opposition is always very important for any country. It is part of the government, and it is very important to keep the government on the straight lines. Whenever the government goes right left, the opposition normally keeps the government.
But this kind of role by the opposition that we are looking
the role which Imran Khan is playing as an opposition leader in
his party
in center and in party. I mean, it has a very big question mark on it. He wants to push, in fact, state to the wall, so that the state
chooses. Is he asking for their support, which he's always done?
I mean, in past he has been enjoying that support, which now he is asking for, and he is pushing that state to the wall, so that he could have dialogue with the state. Not to the political parties. He has been saying that he wants to have dialogue with the political parties, but he doesn't mean that political parties he wants to have dialogue. Now, in the case of Gandapur, in the beginning, Gandapur was having very hostile attitude towards the
federal government.
What he has been doing. But now, the same Gandapur, he walked and he came to see Prime Minister. Why? Because now when they felt PTI or Imran Khan or Gandapur, they felt that heat or pressure from the state or from the government regarding that 735 canal land which was not declared in his papers, that he will be disqualified, and if he is disqualified, he'll not be the chief minister, and then he will not be the member of the assembly as well. So he will be in either in jail or back to DI Khan. So to avoid that sort of result from this confrontation, they decided to come to see the Prime Minister. Now, if you wanted to see the Prime Minister and he is from PMLN, in past we have been saying that you will never talk to the PMLN and People's Party, and now you are again on the table to talk to them. What is about that narrative which you were claiming that these are corrupt people and we'll never talk to them? Now you are talking to the same person or same political parties. If you wanted to talk to the same political parties, why did not you choose in the past to talk to them?
So you think that it's going to change, it's going to thaw? I'm going to include Aniq Zafar in this. Aniq Zafar, do you think that we are perhaps they're going to realize the reality of the situation, like Naveed Zafar has said, and adhere to the fact that they are part of the process now, because they are of course in the parliament, as far as KP is concerned, as far as the National Assembly is concerned, Senate overall, and therefore they will have to play ball. Do you think that kind of political maturity will seep in?
That to me seems a little difficult.
Okay.
I am hopeful that somehow it should come about, this maturity of actions, but I do not see sort of indicators for that. And one of the reasons, as you were mentioning earlier, was that there is lack of clarity in the party. There are multiple power centers developing. In the absence of the top leadership, there are multiple power centers developing, and those power centers have already started pulling each other's legs, and you can see their statements in which they are expressing doubts on the loyalty of the other leader or other contenders within the party of having importance or closeness to the top man.
So you think they're already exposing themselves in that way?
They are already exposing themselves to say, and again the problem right now is that the new lot they have brought in. I'm not against new fresh blood coming into the legislative houses, but these people are very inexperienced and they do not understand that this is not a street fight. You have to function. If you have to function within the system, there are rules, there are procedures. You use those rules and procedures and parliamentary practices to sort of block the government or make things difficult for the government. It's not through street fight that you take a street fight to the parliament and try to fight people there. I have been,
which seems to be the strategy.
That is not the strategy. That is the problem of DNA right now. The DNA which is developing in the party does not want to work with anyone else. That is the problem. So if Ali Amin Gandapur shows intent of engaging with the federal government, he will be criticized on the social media, he will be criticized inside the party. People will start going to Imran Khan and saying that you cannot trust him because he has engaged with the federal government. So that the problem of the DNA now is multiplying.
Okay.
See, so these new faces, they do not understand this. I was quoted by someone that one of the senior leaders from PTI within the parliament, who obviously has been in the parliament multiple times and from different party platforms, and is a very senior leader. He went across and met a few people in the parliament, and some of them are very senior parliamentarians, and he was a little deferring to those people. And when he went back to his benches, these young guns were like sort of asking him, why were you so respectful to that person? These are not the person these are not the individuals we can be respectful to. So this is the kind of attitude which is developing within the party in the ranks. So it will become very difficult for the whatever top leadership right now available in the party or in the parliament to to function maturely and act in accordance with the parliamentary norms, in accordance with the political traditions. So that is going to be a huge problem. There is only one way forward, and that is that somehow the top man himself creates a committee which is which becomes the only committee to engage with other political parties, only committee which engages with him, because now what is happening is that multiple people go and come out with different messages. Everyone who comes out has his own axe to grind, and they communicate the same thing, and there is chaos in the party then.
The problem is this: if Imran Khan constitutes a committee, the committee will be comprising on Gandapur and on Marwat, on the Asad Kaisar like people. So they are already a problem for the party. The problem of Imran Khan.
But also the younger lot, people who have now come in, for the first time in the parliament, who don't have a long background with PTI also. Because we saw what happened during the elections. For them, there's a confusion also. They don't know which line to toe. Again, they don't know if the talks and the decorum and the fact that in a parliamentary democracy, the talks are a necessary part of that kind of opposition also. If you are in opposition, you're existing within the realms of the parliament.
Mahrukh, the dilemma of those young blood which has come in the parliament on the forum of PTI is that Imran Khan himself is a confused person, as a confused leader. He doesn't know what to do and how to do and where to go. He has created, different factions in the party. Everybody in itself, in his capacity, is a leader and the party faction carrying on. Like Marwat is carrying his, followers. Asad Kaisar.
So these are these small groups within the PTI itself
are creating problem for the new ones.
For the new ones also.
And Imran Khan, in fact, in past when he was Prime Minister and he was having control in Punjab as well, in bureaucracy, multiple number of chief secretaries and IGs were changed. Then now in the political party, he is giving powers to different political leaders. In a political party, you need to have one political leader, the others need to follow him or her.
Do you think it's also about the fact that, of course, he's absent on ground himself, and that is, creating...
It is again a problem.
But the ideology itself also, and the practicality of it are the two things that are at war with each other. As far as the newer lot is concerned, as far as old politicians are concerned, as far as Imran Khan himself and his own dictation is concerned.
It is true. It is true, but it is also the responsibility of any political leader of a political party to create number 2 or number 3 or second tier or third tier of leadership in the party, so that if the party or leader himself is in crisis, the number 2 or number 3 should steer the leader or the crisis situation or the political party.
But who is number 2 here?
There
doesn't seem to be one number 2.
No. Number 1 is number 10. There's no number 2.
In fact, even when even before 9th May or even before PTI went out of power, or when in election 2018, one of the major crises of PTI is that there is no second tier leadership. The second tier position is hotly contested, right? There is only one top man, and then there is no second or third tier which people agree on. In all other parties, at least second and third tier is almost established, right? And people know that if such and such person is speaking on behalf of the party, that is the party position.
Right.
If such and such person is speaking on behalf of PMLN, that is party position. Right now, and previously even
when the former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif Saab, was not here, the party was functioning to its full capacity, in the sense that, of course, no one can doubt his leadership.
Even
there was clarity.
Or even 2002,
when the whole family was not there, even then the party was functioning. When Javed Hashmi was made the president, the party itself was intact and functioning. did not perform great in 2002 elections. We know the reasons.
But their own leadership and its own tier has always been intact.
Similarly,
we've seen that also in the
2002 People's Party's top leadership, in the sense of Bibi was not here, but decision making was being made from London, but was being executed here by the second tier and third tier perfectly. Here the problem is that you can see that daily we have confusion. Someone will say that Marwat is creating problems. Someone will say such and such person is creating problems.
Also, Aniq Sahab, an important factor when we look at what's happened with regard to these other political parties is that there is a certain benchmark. You know, if we look at the past, and I'm sure you can probably have a better idea of even how far can we go.
Yes, yes.
There is a low. You know, there is a benchmark. I don't think low is the right word, but there is a benchmark under which, or beneath which the